Good morning, children. Welcome back to English class. So, today we are going to start with a wonderful lesson, which is lesson number 8 from your new voice textbook. And the name of the lesson is When I Was 12, written by R.K. Lakshman. So, children, you can just take your notebook and a textbook in front of you and quickly go to page number 82 and make sure that you're also going to take a pencil so that we can underline the important words and we will write the meaning of these words as well. So here we go. We will quickly start with the lesson now. So children, today we will do part 1 of this lesson. Now before we could start with the explanation of this lesson, let us quickly go through the short introduction about the writer. Now as we know, the writer of this particular lesson is R.K. Lakshman. Now he was born in the year 1924 and he died in the year 2015. Now, as per the information, children, he was one of the best and one of the modern India's most important political cartoonists. Now, he is the best known for his creation, The Common Man, and for his daily cartoon strip. Now, you said it in the Times of India, which was started in the year 1951. He also got a lot of awards and Padma Bhushan, Padma Vibhushan and Raman Magsaysay Award. So these are the awards which was actually given to him. So yes children, this was the basic information, or you can say a short information about the writer. And yes, who is the writer? It's R.K. Lakshman. Now children, before we could start with the lesson When I Was 12, let us know what is this lesson all about. Now this is basically a story which tells us about R.K. Lakshman's autobiography. Now his autobiography helped us to understand his art on cartooning and his ideas on life. Okay, so let us now start reading the lesson. We all went to Akana Municipal School. Now, as we know, children, over here, the writer is actually talking about himself. So, this is an autobiography of R.K. Lakshman. So, he says that they all went to a Kannada municipal school and it was a most elegant school, not the kind of municipal schools we have today. So over here children, elegant means a very stylish or beautiful, you can say. Now the author wants to say that right now the schools, the municipal schools are not up to the mark, they are not that clean or they don't have that facilities. But in those days when he used to go to Kannada Municipal School, it was really one of the stylish and very good school. Now, he also wants to add, don't forget that Maharaja of Mysore himself took a special interest in the school. That means, children, Maharaja of Mysore was actually taking care of the school, in case if the school needs any more facilities or there is any kind of, requirement in the school. So Maharaja of Mysore actually used to take proper care of the school. So obviously this has to be a very stylish and elegant school, you can say. So this is what the picture shows. You can just check your textbook as well. Now, let us go to the next one. All teachers, with rare exceptions, were excellent. Now, the author also says that the teachers in the school were really excellent. Yes, few exceptions teachers were also there. Now, all our younger days were completely wrapped up in the experiences we had at school. The teachers having to pass an examination. Now, a student over here, the author says that his younger days, he's completely, they all were having a very good experience where the teachers were completely, behind them during the examination, having to pass an examination. Nowadays, even your teachers are also telling you, okay, the exams are coming near, please study well, you need to score these many marks or whatever. So yes, he do remember those days when the teachers were actually behind them telling them that examinations are coming, so please you have to finish off your studies or you have to score good marks. So this is what the author means to say. child dreads the presence of a teacher. Now, children over here, dreads means anticipating the fear. So, the author wants to say that every child had a fear when the teacher was present in the class. So now, children over here, he wants to say that whenever the teacher used to be in the class, all the students used to behave properly. They never misbehaved, and yet they also gave respect to all the teachers, the way you all do and behave with your teachers as well, children. So yes, have you ever done this, that whenever the teacher is teaching you in the class, have you misbehaved with them, or have you started fighting with your friends? No, right? So yes, in the same way, the writer also says that whenever the teacher was in the class, every child was having that fear in their mind and they used to respect the teacher. But I had a particular nasty one. Now, nasty over here, children, you can say like bad or unpleasant. So yes, there was one particular teacher which the narrator was not actually happy with. Being an arithmetic teacher, I don't think he had any sense of compassion, pity. So yes, that teacher was an arithmetic teacher, and he didn't like arithmetic teacher. The reason was the teacher was actually not having any sense of compassion. Now, compassion over here, children, means showing sympathy or showing some kind of a pity. So yes, I mean, over here the writer wants to say that he was not having any feeling. The teacher was not having any feeling, and he was he used to be engrossed with only the mathematical sums. So yes, so that was one of the reason the narrator was not happy with this teacher. He was only committed to his arithmetic. That means, as we discussed, children, the narrator wants to say that his teacher was completely committed only to the teaching of math. Now, somebody has 3 mangoes, someone has 4. Together, how much? So, yes, the narrator wants to say that the moment the teacher used to come in the class, suddenly the teacher used to start with the math sums. The sums was somewhat really easy, something like somebody has 3 mangoes and someone has 4. Together, how much? So this simple thing we couldn't get the hang of. So the narrator wants to say, even though the sum was really simple, but they couldn't get the hang of. The reason is, yes, as they knew that this teacher was really completely into teaching, and this teacher was not having any feeling. Now the narrator wants to say something over here, something like, for example, children, if you are in the class and if your subject teacher is teaching you, now if you have some problem, like maybe your head is paining or your stomach is aching badly, so generally what you do, you tend to go and talk to your teacher, right? And the teacher takes some actions. So over here the narrator is expressing his feelings, stating that the teacher was actually concerned only about the studies, only about math. He was not concerned about or not having any feelings or compassion towards the students. Yes, then he says we could have, that means they could have done this, but he was such a formidable character that we felt that even if we had got the right answer, we would be beaten anyway. So formidable over here means fearsome. So now the narrator is stating that even though they know the correct answer, they knew that even if they raise their hands and give the correct answer, they would be beaten anyways. So that is the reason, the children in this class hardly used to give the answer and they used to raise their hands. The reason, they knew that the teacher was not that compassion, and the teacher was not showing that kind of a feeling. Okay, so this is what the narrator means. So children, you can look at the picture over here, how this arithmetic teacher is, teaching in the class, and how the narrator is actually drawing a sketch. Now let us go ahead. So we mumbled and he twisted our ears and shouted. He was the target of my caricature. Now, so we mumbled. Now, as I told you, children, the writer said that this particular teacher was really not having any kind of compassion. And yes, even if you give the correct answer or the wrong answer, yes, this teacher was going to shout at them and beat them. So yes, they used to mumble. So they mumbled. Mumbled over here means saying something very quietly so that the other person, couldn't listen or hear what the person is saying. And he twisted our ears and shouted. So the teacher used to twist the ear and the teacher used to shout. So yes, that was the reason this narrator thought that today I'm going to draw a sketch on arithmetic teacher. One day he had written the usual sum on the blackboard. Ram has 3 mangoes, Krishna has 4. It was a simple sum but quite beyond me. Now, children, okay, now let us first go through the meaning of caricature. What do you mean by caricature, children? That means a funny drawing of someone that makes him or her look very silly. Okay, so yes, you must be aware of, you must have seen few caricatures in the newspaper or maybe few of the books or the comic book. So yes, it is the same kind of a caricature. So yes, he's saying that there was a sum written on the board. Ram has 3 mangoes, Krishna has 4 mangoes. It was a simple sum but quite beyond me. I thought he would not ask me, so I sat hiding behind others. So now, children, the narrator over here thought that the teacher, the arithmetic teacher, would not ask any question to the narrator, and that's the reason he thought of hiding behind others. Behind others, who like me were all short little boys. Now, we have understood, children, over here one thing, that the narrator was not that keen to actually, uh, learn or actually read or understand what the teacher is teaching. So, the narrator was not interested, and that's the reason the narrator thought that he can hide behind a few of the boys who were somewhat similar in his size. I mean, short, the way the narrator was. Now, yes, children, for example, sometimes when your subject teacher is teaching you, and those who know the answer, they raise their hands. Those who don't know the answer, they generally try to hide, behind one of your friend. So yes, in the similar way, the narrator also thought that it's better if I hide behind someone and I continue with my work. I started sketching. It looked very much like a tiger. So, as the narrator was drawing the sketch, the particular image, or I mean, the cartoon was looking like a tiger. A man with bristling mustache, teeth, and all that developed as the questions went on. Now, bristling over here, children, means containing short, stiff, spiky hair. So, yes, the narrator was drawing something. It was a man with bristling mustache, teeth, and all that developed as the question went on. That means the narrator was so much involved in the sketch, and simultaneously arithmetic teacher was teaching the sums on the board, and that's how the question was developed and it went on. And all that developed as the questions went on. This also means, children, that as the narrator said that the arithmetic teacher was solving the sum on the board. So as the teacher was solving the sums on the board, the teacher went on asking the questions, and the narrator was completely busy in his own world of sketching a caricature. He was in the first row, I was in the last. Now, over here, the narrator says that the teacher was in the first row explaining the sum and asking questions, and the writer was in the last row. I got involved in the caricature. Now, as we know, the writer was completely involved in caricature. Suddenly, I felt a piercing pain in my left ear. Now, Suddenly, I felt a piercing pain in my left ear. So, this means, children, that the narrator felt a sharp pain in his left ear. The narrator turned. This monster was twisting my ear for having drawn him. So, yes, children, now the teacher came to know that the narrator is actually making a sketch of arithmetic teacher only. So, the narrator is calling this teacher monster. As we know, he is not a monster, but yes, the narrator gave him a name as a monster. So, yes, finally the narrator was caught actually drawing a sketch of arithmetic teacher, right? He said, "So you have drawn me." I said, "No, sir, I did not draw you." So the teacher actually said, "That means you have drawn me right now." Now the narrator says that, "No, I have not drawn you." But he could recognize it through all that likeness to a tiger that it was he. Of course, I was punished. So, yes, the narrator says over here that the sketch was actually very easy to recognize. So, the arithmetic teacher actually he could understand that it was none other than his own sketch. And yes, of course, what he got in return was a punishment. So, for example, children, when your subject teacher is teaching you something and suddenly you are not paying attention and you are being caught by your teacher. So, what the teacher does, of course, the teacher will punish you. The reason is that means you are not paying attention in the class. So, in the similar way, the narrator says that when the arithmetic teacher came to know that narrator was completely involved in making a sketch, he was actually being punished by the teacher. That was the time I realized the art of caricature. Now, as the narrator, told us that the teacher could recognize the sketch made by the narrator. Now, this time the narrator really felt that yes, that means the art of caricature which has been done by narrator is really. So, this was the time when the narrator realized that he was a good caricaturist. I saw, my God, indeed, he does look like a tiger. So, yes, when he also looked at the sketch, the narrator also felt like, yes, indeed, the teacher looks like a tiger. My attempt was not to draw a tiger, but I drew the face of a tiger subconsciously as an extension of the man's personality. So, subconsciously means unintentionally. That means something which you are doing without any intention. So, yes, children, now the narrator actually thought of drawing a sketch. It was just casually he was thinking of drawing a sketch. But yes, when he drew the sketch, he could make out that the sketch was really good and it was actually having the face of a tiger. He actually drew the face of a tiger. And it was giving, a man's personality as well. So, yes, children, from this, he actually understood that he was having a great art of being a caricature. Now to me he was a tiger. From then on it almost became a hobby for me to liken human figures to inanimate objects or animals. So yes, from that day onwards, children, the narrator actually felt that he was having a wonderful hobby of drawing a human figure sketch by giving them some animal personality or inanimate object. Now, you might ask, what is that relates things or creatures to personality? So, the narrator is telling us that if we want, we can ask this question by saying that how does the animal personality or inanimate object things can actually you can relate with the human personality. But yes, I mean, as we know, the narrator was quite you can say really a good artist. So yes, he was having a different kind of thinking in his mind, that he can actually relate a human personality with the animal personality. as well. And that's how he started, building up this hobby of drawing the sketches, and he became a good caricature. To me, it looked like a prince. Yes, as we know, the narrator says that there are few people who look like giraffe. There are few people he has compared them with monkey, and yes, there are few well dressed and well mannered people. He is talking about them as a Cadillac. That's a luxury car. To him, they looked like a prince. There is a personality that gets rubbed off onto inanimate objects. So the narrator over here wants to say that yes, there are few personalities or human characters which can easily be transformed into inanimate objects, like the way he discussed earlier. A few can be changed into giraffe, monkey, and tiger, the way he did with arithmetic sir. So yes, it could sound little bit silly and funny as well. What he says is, even today I feel that I got nothing out of the 2 plus 4 minus 1. That means even today he is not that keen or interested in mathematical sums. But I gained something invaluable that day in the classroom. So yes, but because of the punishment which was given, and the sketch which he drew the other day in the classroom, it actually made him to realize that he is the best artist, and he can really do wonderful sketches, and he can be a wonderful caricaturist. So yes, children, this is what he realized, that he can be a good artist. I will tell you of another incident that is connected with the art of caricature. So now the narrator is wants to say that he already told us about one incident which was with regards to the art of caricatures. Now he is about to tell us one more incident. The art I have chosen is one which rubs everyone on the wrong side. Okay, so the art which he has selected. Now, what happens to the people? From the prime minister to the policeman, from the president to the priest, they are all ridiculed. Ridicule means, children, the subjection of someone. So that means his profession is actually making all these people, or giving the different personality to all these people, whether they are prime minister, president, police, or priest. A different look, a different meaning, which is a little bit funny, which is something very silly. Okay, and yes, this is what his profession is all about. So long as it's about others, people like it. So long as it's about others, people like it. So the narrator wants to say that, of course, by profession, he is an artist now. So as long as he makes the sketches for people, and there are rest of the people who really sometimes feel that his sketches are little bit funny and silly. And yes, they keep on enjoying his work. So he is also really happy to know that by profession he is an artist, and his work is also being liked by everyone. So dear children, now we are done with part 1. Now quickly we will be back with part 2 of lesson number 8, When I Was 12, written by R.K. Lakshman. So now children, I have also given you a worksheet below the link. So you have to go to the link and quickly you have to solve the worksheet and send it across. You also make sure, children, that you are going to read the lesson thoroughly, properly, and the difficult words which we have completed today, make sure that you are going to go through these words once again. So we will meet you again with part 2. Till that time, children, thank you very much. Bye-bye.